This is an Asus X540SA dash a whole bunch of crap. This is a classic cheapo Asus from the mid-2010s, and we're not going to do a lot to it today. Today is mainly just get the hard drive replaced with one that I've already installed a Windows image on and checked out, and great, that beeper is going to go off in the background a lot. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to the trouble of turning it off. As is often the case with these machines, you basically just need to take all these screws out. And that's a load of fun. Let me make that a little brighter for you. Magnetic screwdrivers help a lot. If you have a bad hard drive somewhere that you can rip the permanent magnets out of and scrape the screwdriver a few times, it magnetizes it quite nicely, I promise you. But yeah, sometimes these Asus machines have different sizes of screws, so be real careful about that. I'm going to have to turn that beeper off. Screws out. Those actually look the same length. We might be lucky. This might be one of the ones with the same length screws everywhere. Now, in general, these particular... Nope, the back ones are bigger. But they also appear to have a thicker thread, so that helps. Anyway, in general... No, the back ones, there are 3 different size screws in this computer. So, let's review this. There are 3 different sizes here. Let me get this to where we can... Yeah, you see that? So, we have... These are the corner hinge screws. These are the middle rear screws. And these short, skinny shaft screws, these go everywhere else. So, back corners, back middle, front, and mid. These particular cheapo Asus laptops are from the era where they switched to the 2-piece body design. You've got a keyboard plate, and you've got, or palm rest, and then you've got this as the base. On newer computers, the bottom is basically the lid and everything's attached to the keyboard. On these computers, however, and this is always really hard for me to show on camera, on these computers, this palm rest assembly here, this is just a thing that comes up, and it's a little bit of a problem. I'll try to show you why. Get something in there. Maybe we can get a little bit of focus trickery here. Get something in there, or not. Maybe not. You got to get something up in there somehow. This one's tight. Good God. Okay. Might have better luck on the sides. Kinda, maybe, no, okay. That's the way it's going to be, is it? Come on. Oh, I can feel a little flex right here. I got something. You see that? I got something. Pop. One popped. You stick the thing in, and you pry it this way, and it pops. Yay. Does it pop the other way? No, I guess it does not. Nope, you've got to pull in the right direction. Once you get a few of them, it gets easier. Just put pressure and pull further. Do it all the way down. Don't be too rough. Okay. You have to be careful because at some point this stuff all starts to pop loose. Make sure I didn't forget a screw. Nope. Nope, didn't forget a screw. And there we go. It's falling apart. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Do the thing. Do the thing. There you go. Be careful not to break anything, and you need to make sure it doesn't drop, and I'm about to show you why. So when you get this particular model open, yeah, it's on the other side, isn't it? It is. It is. These particular Asus X540s and similar that date back to the mid-2010s, they have these cables here. There's a cable here going to the touchpad, and it goes down to the motherboard here. There's also a keyboard cable further down. I know that it's really hard to see any of what I'm talking about right now, but flip, maybe I can do it this way to show you. Flip this connector right here, flip it to unlock this ZIF cable. There we go. And then the keyboard, get in there and flip it as well, and you can pop that cable out, and now the whole assembly will just fall. We can actually remove it. Alright, there we go. So these, when I said cheap, I wasn't kidding. This is the battery. They don't even put the full shell for this battery pack. The battery is just this this half-ass pack that uses a standard battery connector type thing. But yeah, non-upgradable RAM. You can upgrade the Wi-Fi card using an older style PCI Express card, but most stuff now is M.2 PCIe, so newer cards won't go in there. Good luck getting wireless AX on this old piece of junk. There is a fan in this one, but some of them don't even have a fan. Depending on the processor, some of these have passive cooling. Lots of empty space here to store your drugs and guns. Guns for ants. The optical drive, it looks like pop a couple screws here and you can... Actually, you probably can just pop this screw to get it out. The hard drive and this weird cage for the optical drive are kind of together here, and that's annoying, but whatever. We're here to get the hard drive out, so let's get the hard drive out. Alright. Wow. I don't know about this optical drive cage. That's weird. Anyway, hard drive probably will just slide forward at this point. Yep. All the screws that went through that are case screws, so here's one hard drive, invisible due to brightness, and we need to just swap it. So let's swap it. This is an old school computer, old enough they didn't have these cutesy new thin drives yet. Let's get these side screws out of the hard drive caddy. And if you've ever done any of these kinds of things, this is very straightforward from here. You just take the drive out of the caddy, put the new drive in the caddy, and reverse the process to put it all back together. Getting the cables put back can be a little bit frustrating due to the limited room, but it's not the end of the world. Here we go. Alright. So, there we go. And just to show you both of, yeah, there we go. That's a 9.5 millimeter versus a 7 millimeter. It's not that big of a difference, I suppose, visually, but you can see the older drive is noticeably thicker. Anyway, let's set that aside, get the new one in, and hope I didn't royally screw up the way that this is supposed to go. I actually kind of don't remember the way that this is supposed to go. I think it goes upside down. We can check it though. It goes this way, and the caddy goes that way. So yeah, and you can also look at these. The hard drive, the mount holes will be at the bottom. That's where the drive goes. The bottom, if it's a thin drive, then the top of the drive should be facing up, away from where these mount holes are. Or more correctly, the circuit board side should go wherever these are. Notice there's not holes in the middle, there's not holes at the top, they're at the bottom. So if you ever lose it, you can at least figure out which direction the board goes on the drive, and usually that kind of informs the rest. Obviously you can't have a hard drive connector go through a solid piece of metal, and I'm not tightening these yet. I'm trying to just get them threaded in most of the way, because this whole thing is sort of floating right now, and I need the caddy to not wobble around before I try to crank these screws down. Now I'm tightening them properly. So a little bit about my pricing philosophy for this. This is a cheap old computer. The guy who owns it, I know because I've been told by his parents, that he may have some mental things that affect him. And I know that they are not rich. I mean, the computer alone is evidence enough. So I am not charging much at all for this. It's going to be about 60 bucks in the end. The good news, though, is that he didn't need any data off the failing drive. So we don't have to care about that. So it's a very straightforward install Windows and drivers and walk away. And while we're in here, we always want to check the hinge screws. Make sure that any hinge screws we can reach, we tighten them up. Because if the hinges are coming loose due to just, you know, over time, they do that. We want to make sure we get them tighter. This one, oh, that one's real loose. Good God, no wonder. Honestly, these hinges feel kind of tight, but I'm not removing this just to loosen those. They're not tight enough to care. Okay. If hinges get too tight over time, they can rip out, and that's not a good situation. Alright, so we need to check this real quick. There's not really much to this. It's all just plastic welded together. So this goes back here, and I probably, again, can't show you while I do the work. I just have to do it. Keyboard goes there. Yeah, I'm going to be blocking the view. I'm just going to do it in a more comfortable way for myself, and if you can see it, yay. But you probably can't. You have to flip up the connector, slide the cable in for the keyboard. Yeah, and clip it down. Then, for the other touchpad connector, oh, this is slipping too. That's an added bonus right there. Then for the touchpad, the same thing, except it has to come down even further, so flip it up, and you may have to use a tool to get it to go in because it wants to flick upward, but we need it to point downward. And there's not enough cable to fit my fat hand in here. This part is actually by far the worst part of this entire thing. These things, I mean, they're cheap. They're disposable practically. The screen's probably most of the cost of the unit. And, you know, I don't expect them to last forever, but if I can give this guy a salvaged hard drive from another machine and a clean Windows 10, then he doesn't have to go buy a new computer, and I get 60 bucks for a fairly easy procedure which is better than zero. Yeah, so like I said, this touchpad cable is really hard to do, and I may just edit this out. I don't know yet. Oh God, this sucks. Come on, get in the socket. It's really hard to get it back in the socket. I'm actually having to bend the cable down so that its tendency is to not flick up out of the socket. Okay, this is getting old real fast. Really fast. Okay, I've got to stop. Is there anything I can do? This thing's already like, I don't want to take that off because that keeps me from pulling it out that end. So I don't want to take that off. Good God. Alright, another possible trick. If you slide this over, it gives you a little slack on the keyboard connector. There we go, keyboard easy. It looks like if I slide it over, I'll get some more slack on the touchpad to work with, potentially. So we'll do that. Oh, yep, and it went right in. Once that's in, line it all back up and engage all the stupid plastic clips in the case. All the ones that we had to pop to get in, now we gotta snap. Oh shit, it's booting. No. Whatever. Okay. I mean, it's already reassembled. Why do I care? The battery's too dead. It died. So that was really handy, guys. Thanks a lot. Okay. If you cannot figure out how to reassemble it by now, I gotta be honest, I'm a little shocked, but whatever. Let's see, hinge here. I would recommend that you put in the two large, thick shafted hinge screws first, so that you know they're gone. They don't fit anywhere else anyway. Then put these more needle-like back ones in second, because they shouldn't go into the front ones at all. They will poke holes in things and damage stuff, and we don't need that. So get these long ones in, out of the way. And finally, all these little ones that are clearly all the same size. Come on now. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You don't have to be like that. Okay. If you can't tell, a lot of this ends up just being fighting with screws that don't want to go in. That one really doesn't want to go in. Come on. You may notice one of my techniques is I take the screwdriver, I take the screw, I put it on the screwdriver and then hold it there with my finger, get it to the hole, and once it's guided in, I'm good to go. That way I don't have to deal with the wiggling nonsense that a lot of other people do when they just drop the screw in the hole and then go back and try to screw it down. Well, it takes a whole lot of time to get the screw wiggled to where it falls into the hole, and then to find the head to where the screw can be screwed down harder. Alright, let's real quick verify, since it just sort of died anyway. This has the tiniest power adapter ever. By the way, just so you know, do you see these, well, maybe not very well, but yeah, there are two little dents right here. They look kind of funny. Yeah, you can see it more clearly if I hold it that way. Actually, I don't think this one has the dent, but this one does. This dent is where somebody at some point put a screw in this hinge area. I think the screen's been replaced. They put a screw in here that was too long, and it pushed out the plastics. Way to go! Anyway, let's get this a little brighter, and let's see. You can probably see the screen enough from there. I'm going to get some refreshment while I wait. Ooh, it's frozen. Asus. In search of Incredible. Did they ever find Incredible? I wonder sometimes. Oh, and it's booting. Well, there you go. It's booting. Yeah, it's going to be slow with 4 gigs of RAM and a physical or a rotating hard drive instead of an SSD, but he was fine with it before I had this nice, clean, faster install of Windows 10, and did it just turn off? Did it just turn off? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Why did it turn off? Oh no. Oh no, why did it turn off? Why did it turn off? Oh no, we've discovered a problem. This cable. Oh no. Oh boy, so this is the kind of stuff that I go through sometimes. Let me show this to you. So maybe if this thing will autofocus a little bit more clearly. You see that light right there? Yeah. So, if you follow that light just a bit, here we go. I'm going to move the AC adapter cable. So this is the DC jack, and here's the cable. Did you see it go out? I didn't unplug it. It's still plugged in. There is somewhere inside this cable, there is an internal break in the wiring. This is not charging the computer sometimes due to internal damage to this cable. So this customer ideally needs either a new AC adapter, or they need to be really careful about how this cable falls, because it's got a break, and unless the charge light's on, it's a bad time. Oh, and it doesn't appear to take much to get it to where it's not making good contact or whatever. Yep. Yep, Yep, it's bad. Alright, well, that's a new one on me. I wasn't expecting that, but at least I know what to tell the customer, and maybe I can find one in a bin somewhere to give them. Don't know yet, but, so that's this disassembly that has turned into slightly more, but I hope this was helpful. Take it easy. Have a good one.